Welcome back everyone to this video. This is the third video in this series where I talk about how I think that doing Nofap can make you more attractive to women. Now this is a special video. As you guys can see, I have my lovely assistant, my girlfriend Karen here. And we're gonna talk about what she, as a woman, thinks about this whole thing. So this is like a female perspective on Nofap and women attraction. So we're going to talk about the points that I made in my previous videos, what she thinks about those points. And then we're going to talk about if she actually noticed some differences in me when I was on Nofap or not. Now we've been together for over 5 years, and yes, I have been doing Nofap for longer than 5 years, but obviously I've had ups and downs in my life. I've had periods where I was slightly more serious about it, periods where I was slightly less serious about it. I've had relapses, and sometimes the relapse, you guys might know it, sometimes it's not a single viewing session, but it's more like a week or a 2-3 week period where you watch that stuff every day, several hours a day, so that's pretty bad. I've definitely had my lows. Karen has experienced me during these lows and these highs, and so we're going to talk about if she actually noticed some differences in me and if she actually thought that that was more or less attractive. So I suggest we start by going over the points that I talked about in my previous videos. We'll just start with the first video. I've made you do your homework and watch the video. But as a short summary for you guys, in my first video I talked about the more like physical changes that Nofap can do to you. Like, for example, I think one of the biggest things it does is that as you become more confident and you start to believe in yourself, you start to carry yourself in a different way, right? You start to show more confident body language. You might hold your posture slightly differently, or even hold your face slightly differently. So, yeah, you've seen the video. What do you think about the points that I made in this video?
Yeah, I think those were some very good points. I definitely think it makes sense that Nofap would make a difference in your physical appearance, but I think it is really hard to know. Yeah, I mean, you can see somebody, but I don't know if he's doing Nofap, so it's subconsciously. So maybe the guys that I see walking and I find attractive do Nofap, but I don't know.
Makes a lot of sense. Obviously, you cannot see if someone does Nofap or not, but a lot of people say that there is such a thing as like a guy that has it, right? If a woman sees a guy, she knows if the guy has it or not. And you can often see a guy that is not necessarily well, attractive. He is attractive, but he does not necessarily have the appearance of a supermodel. But still, you see that guy and you think, there's something about his energy, like he radiates that something. He has it. You don't know what it is, but he has it.
Yeah.
That is something you do recognize.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And again, you know, we cannot tell. You cannot tell if that actually is because of Nofap or not. But do you think it makes sense that there is a chance that doing Nofap actually, you know, increases your confidence, and that might increase the extent to which a guy has it or not? Yeah.
I definitely think so. I mean, if I see a guy walking in the street or wherever, and he is not necessarily like a supermodel, handsome, like Chris Hemsworth, Henry Cavill kind of guy, it doesn't really matter. Well, no, not really, because if a guy really has it, like you say, his confidence and how he radiates and walks in the world, that's really important and attractive.
Yeah.
But as you said, you cannot see from the outside if he does Nofap, but I definitely think it makes sense that it contributes to your physical appearance.
Very well. So the next point I made is that I said that it might change the extent to which you release pheromones. Now, obviously, you know, this is something that even if it does make you excrete more masculine pheromones, this is something that you cannot notice on a conscious level. So there's not much sense me asking you about this, but we we have noticed something before about my sweat, right?
Yeah.
We noticed that my sweat tends to smell different when I fap or not. Like when I am on like a certain streak of no fap, semen retention even, it tends to smell better. And then when I have a period where I do fap a bit more, it's been a while ago, luckily for me, but during these periods, if we remember correctly, my sweat smelled different. You know, it is almost comparable to when you have anxiety sweat, right? A lot of people know about anxiety sweat, that it smells worse, right?
Yeah.
It's much different than when you have like fresh sweat after being confident and exercising or something. It's a very different smell. You can smell when someone is afraid. You can smell that. And
Yeah, I also know myself, if I'm nervous or something, it's definitely
yeah,
different.
yeah. And I would not say that my vapor sweat was like the same as my anxiety sweat. It's not an exact match, but it is different, right?
Yeah.
It was different.
Yeah, it was different, definitely.
Yeah. And would you say that my vapor sweat was less attractive than my confident sweat, my no vapor sweat? You can actually notice a big difference between like not just how it smells, but actually how it makes you feel and how attractive it is.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, normally I like your sweat, and it's maybe a bit gross for some people, but normally I like it, and we noticed it when you were on a good streak, and compared to a relapse or whatever. Yeah, it was definitely different, and yeah, your normal or your good periods, that definitely smells better, I think. Yeah.
So then the last point I made in this first video is about the vibrations. About like a lot of people believe that when you do nofap, it changes like your vibrational frequency, and you get like this aura around you that you know other people sense, and that's actually one of the things that makes women more attracted to you. This is a very spiritual thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't believe this, but a lot of people also do seem to believe that. So what do you think about that?
I'm not sure, but I think it's a good point, and I definitely think it makes sense. I also don't really know it's not something you can prove and measure.
Yeah.
So it is kind of weird spiritual thing, but I think I believe it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do believe it?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not sure if I should believe it myself.
I am a bit more spiritual than you
Maybe,
are. So.
maybe. Women tend to be more spiritual. I'm not sure if I should believe it myself, but I don't want to say that it's complete nonsense.
No.
And even if I don't believe it, that it's literally true, I do still think that it's a good symbolism. You know, you can actually use it as a nice symbolism, and it does kind of work that way, whether it be the vibrations or just the changes in the way that you hold your face. Now, in this video, I also had this comparison between my vapor face and my no vapor face. Now, I do have to admit that this was a little bit hypothetical. I did not actually masturbate before taking that picture. But I honestly have noticed that during my relapse streaks that I did hold my face in a different way, like slightly more, well, not necessarily depressed, but quite along the lines of what I showed in these pictures. Now, despite the fact that these are hypothetical pictures, assuming that, you know, it actually makes you look different in this way, you've seen the pictures. Would you say that the no vapor face is indeed the more attractive face than the vapor face?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you compare the pictures next to each other, it's a really small difference, but it's definitely noticeable, and I think the no vapor face looks better.
Yeah. Because ever since I started to like notice this, since I started to become aware of how it has these subtle little changes in your face, you know, I actually started to notice it in myself in the mirror. I started to notice that, you know, when I feel more confident, you think you hold a neutral face, but there's slight differences in the way that you hold your eyes, slight differences in the way that you hold your mouth, and you know, yeah, to me it makes sense that if you do nofap, you feel more confident. You are more likely to have that slightly slightly more attractive, slightly more confident face.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it makes sense.
So then let's move on to the second video. Now in this video I talked about like the more mental aspects of the way it makes you more attractive, and like the character changes, right? Some of the main points that I made in this video is that I think that it can make you more confident and that it can really make you more ambitious, right? More motivated towards life, more motivated to work towards your goal, passionate, that belief in yourself, and that I think that these are qualities that women generally find really attractive in a man, and that's very important as well, because obviously attracting a woman is not just about that initial contact where you first see each other, but if you actually want to take it to a deeper level and especially build and maintain a healthy relationship, I think these qualities are perhaps even more important.
Yeah.
So what do you think about these arguments that I made in that second video?
Yeah, I think these are really, really important, and maybe even the most important on your goal of doing Nofap.
Yeah.
Because I mean, physical appearances are nice, and yeah, I mean it's great if you look better and feel better. But I think the inner process and the motivation and the passion and everything you would have more when doing Nofap. I think this is the most important thing and the most important goal. Yeah.
So that brings us to the second part of this video that I wanted to discuss. The differences that you actually noticed in me. Because I'm assuming that these are things that are more easily noticeable, because when you do see like a subtle difference in the way that I hold my face or like pheromones, these are harder to consciously notice. But I'm guessing that like how motivated I am to work, you can actually see me getting up in the morning and working, and we talk about how our day went, so that's probably something that you can notice more easily.
Yeah.
So what have you noticed overall in like when I was on a more relapsey period and a more serious Nofap period?
Yeah, as you said, on appearances, not. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it all comes together, so it's not really that I consciously noticed any differences, but perhaps, subconsciously. But I think the most important thing is that your overall happiness and your confidence. You just seem to be happier in everyday life and more confident, and also way more motivated for life and passionate and ambitious on your job, on what you're doing and your goals in life. And you also told me like you're happier and more excited to get out of bed in the morning to do your things and to work on your goals. So I think that's really the most important thing that I notice in you in good periods, and luckily those are a lot. But also besides this, as a consequence of this, I think as you are happier and more confident and you have more good energy, there's another benefit for me, and that is that you're more available to me for when I'm sad or I had a bad day or whatever. It seems that you're more available to me to support me. So that's really, really nice as well.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense, because people always say that doing Nofap makes you like more present in the moment, and I guess it also makes sense that when you take care of yourself, you have more room to take care of other people as well.
Yeah.
Because when you have a lot of issues in your life and a lot of things that you are not satisfied with, it becomes harder to take on other people's trouble as well. And that, the more that you've got yourself together, the more that you are there to support other people. So I guess that makes sense. Yeah, that's a very good point. I've actually never really heard that being mentioned anywhere before in like the whole Nofap scene. So I guess that's the power of adding in a female
Yeah.
perspective. But to get back to like the point of like ambition and passion and stuff, this is it's the stereotype that, you know, this is what women find insanely attractive: a man that is on his purpose, that is ambitious and passionate. Is that true? Would you say the same thing? Are those qualities that you find really attractive in me,
Yes.
or in a man in general?
Yes.
And would you say that, you know, doing Nofap, that you can actually see these qualities increase when I do Nofap?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Definitely. I see very big differences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's great. That's great. I guess that that pretty much closes off the video. We've talked about all the points. We've talked about what you noticed in me. I don't know if you have anything more to say.
Well, I think Nofap is a very good thing, so
It's a very good thing.
keep on doing it.
'Cause that's an interesting thing to hear as well, guys, because I can imagine that there are a lot of women who think that Nofap is kind of weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they first hear about Nofap, and maybe especially this topic, you know, if a woman has no idea what Nofap is, she has no idea like what watching pornography and excessive masturbation can really do to your mind, and how a lot of people suffer from it, and then she suddenly sees a man on the internet talking to other men saying, yeah, if you stop playing with your penis, women will become more attracted to you. I can imagine that a lot of women will think, wow, what the hell is that? That sounds a little bit crazy. But
Yeah.
would you have thought that if you didn't met me and you were not aware of the whole Nofap thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be a bit strange, but for me it's hard to say because you already did it
Yeah.
before you met me, so yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds maybe a bit strange, but there's a good story behind it. So
Yeah.
and I like to do research and listen to the arguments. So
I do think that most women have the potential to understand it. It's just that most women have never really heard about the underlying arguments before, and therefore a lot of women might think it's kind of weird. But well, here we have living proof that if you do hear the actual arguments, that it starts to make sense, right? And you start to understand how this is really a good thing, how this can improve a man. And if you improve the man, you improve the relationship, you improve the woman, and you improve your life.
Yeah.
Well, guys, if you like this video, then click the like button, leave a comment below, because the algorithm seems to really like that for some reason, so that way you are supporting me in my growth. You can throw in some creative comments, like maybe if you want to see more Karen, say more Karen please, and then I might make another video with Karen. If you want to help yourself out, click the subscribe button, because if you liked this video, you are probably going to like a lot of upcoming videos as well, because I will make a lot of videos in this same topic. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.